Hello and welcome back to SciTi Tech. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a paper lantern ws2812 Neopixel RGB with using cardboard paper, an Arduino Nano, and a ws2812 Neopixels. Let's get started. And these are the items you're going to need to make for this project. The items you're going to need: a cardboard tube that came from a paper towel, a 9-volt battery, a 9-volt battery clip, ws2812 Neopixels, this right here is 16 of them, an Arduino Nano, a 300 ohm resistor, a push button lock switch, some neodymium magnets, and some paper and cardboard. Now let's go ahead and assemble this project and let's get started. First, I'm going to take these 16 Neopixels, and what I need to do is solder tin the leads. Solder tin them on both sides, just like this. And there, she'll look just like this. Next, I'm going to take the Arduino Nano and a push button lock switch, and I want to connect one of the leads of the push button lock switch over to VIN or voltage input, and the other lead over to this empty hole. Place it in just like this. And now solder it into place. Next, I'm going to take the 9-volt battery clip, and then take the positive wire from the 9-volt battery clip and solder it to that free lead of the push button lock switch, which goes into that hole. And then take the negative from the 9-volt battery clip and place it into ground. Solder it into place. And now let's go test it out to make sure everything's connected. Plug in the 9-volt battery to see if the Arduino Nano turns on. Okay, doesn't turn on, but now let's see with the switch. And as you can see, it works. The switch works, and the Arduino Nano turns on. Next, I'm going to take the 300 ohm resistor, take one of the leads of the resistor and put it onto D6 or data 6. Solder it into place. Cut off the excess. Shorten the lead of the resistor. Solder tin it. Next, I'm going to take the cardboard tube, and I want to take the Neopixels and place them on just like this. Leave a little bit of a gap right here, which I think looks good. Maybe that much of a gap looks even better. And then another gap down here that also looks good. Place my finger right here, getting an idea of where the LEDs are going to be, and then where my hand's going to be. And now figure out where the bottom part of my hand is. This part right here is where I need to cut. Simply go right here and cut off this part of the cardboard. And there, that part of the cardboard is cut. Now it's the perfect size. I'm going to make a mark, and this is where my hand's going to go. Take a measurement with the paper. Mark the paper, because this is how much of the paper I need to cut off. A very useful, interesting method without using scissors. I'm going to simply fold it back and forth. And also, wet the edges. Fold it right here, because that's the width I need. Pinch the corners very tight. And now flip it over and do the same thing, going the opposite direction. And then repeat the process multiple times. This will cause the paper to be weak and can be able to tear it. If you gently wet the sides, that will also help and will allow it to tear off easily without the need of scissors. So, a very useful tip and a very useful method without the need of scissors. Next, take the cardboard tube and place it onto the paper. And then take the paper and fold it onto the cardboard tube, roll it, and roll it to the end, so that way I can see how much excess paper I need to remove. It looks like right here is where I need to cut it and remove. Same method again with folding the paper. And there, simply tear the paper, just like this. Next, I'm going to take some hot glue and make a line of hot glue going across the cardboard tube. Take the paper and glue it into place, and then roll the paper nice and tight. Pull it to make sure it's very tight. Fold it on top and press down so that way the glue can get the other part of the paper as well. Add some more hot glue to glue down the paper. Press it down firmly so that way it can become nice and flat. It is now glued into place. Next, I'm going to take some wires. These 3 wires will be the wires that I need to cut for the Neopixels. What I need to do is link all the Neopixels together. First Neopixel. It's very important to respect the arrows because that's the direction of the current flow. Solder a wire to 5 volts. Solder a wire to data input. Solder a wire to ground. And it should look just like this. Next, I'm going to take a shrink tube. Place the shrink tube over the data wire. And now take the data wire and solder it to the resistor. And now take the shrink tube and place it over the resistor and the exposed wire. Take a heat source and shrink the tube. There, and it should look just like this. Next, take the 5-volt wire and put it into 5 volts. Solder it into place. Next, take the ground wire and place it into ground. Solder it into place. And now it's time to test it out. Connect the 9-volt battery to the 9-volt battery clip. Turn on the circuit, and there, as you can see, the LEDs work. Next, I'm going to go and take the circuit and place it inside of the tube. Go battery first, then Arduino Nano, and then push the wires in, going all the way to the opposite end. Just like this. Next, I'm going to take the Neopixel, fold it over, and then place it on top of the paper. And now respect the direction of the arrows, so that way the arrows end over here. Turn this Neopixel the opposite direction, and then make sure that the arrows follow the arrows. And I want to make sure I connect these 2 Neopixels together. Connect ground to ground, data to data, and 5 volts to 5 volts. I have these 9 solder tinned wires ready to connect the Neopixels together. Solder ground to ground, data to data, and 5 volts to 5 volts. And now respect the arrows, and then connect ground to ground, data to data, and 5 volts to 5 volts. And repeat the same process 2 more times. And there, it should look just like this. Make another quick test, and as you can see, it works. Next, I'm going to take this piece of cardboard. And what I want to do is place a piece of paper on top of it. Take some glue and put a generous amount of glue onto the cardboard and glue down this piece of paper. And now the paper is glued into place. I have right here this yogurt lid, which will be the perfect size of the circle to be able to make for this lantern. Simply take a pin and trace around it. Next, what I need to do is figure out where the center of this circle is. A very easy way to do that is I need to go and take the yogurt lid, and since it has this little button in the center, dab a little bit of glue on that button, which will leave a temporary color mark, which will then disappear later on. Place the lid back onto the circle, press down really firm on that little button, and it leaves a little mark. That little mark will identify the center of the circle. Take a pin and make it easier to see. And I'll take a piece of paper, since I don't have a ruler handy, and just simply make a line going across. Make the line big enough so that way I could be able to take the cardboard tube and place it on it because X will mark the spot. Not big enough, so I need to make the X a little bit bigger. And there, now I get an idea of how to place a circle perfectly. Just simply use some eye judgment to get an idea to make it perfectly even. Trace around the cardboard tube. And there, I have the perfect size for the cardboard tube to go inside, and it is also centered. Since the paper is only on one side of the circle, what I need to do is have paper on both sides of the circle, so that way everything will be completely white and reflective. So take a piece of paper and put it on the opposite end of the cardboard where the paper is, glue it into place, and that way both sides are connected. And now when I cut out the circle, I'll have a circle that will have paper on both sides. This side will be the interior because it doesn't look nice, and the other side of the paper will be the exterior. Next, what I need to do is simply cut out the circle in the center so I can take the cardboard tube and place it inside. Carefully cut around. Cut off the excess and it should look just like this. And I'll take the cardboard tube and place it through. And there, should look just like this. This part of the circle will be the bottom part of the lantern. Now I need to repeat the same process and make the top part of the lantern. Take the circle that I've already cut out and cut out the exact same kind of circle. And there, now I have the top and bottom part of the lantern. And now I'm ready to take these cardboard circles and put them on the top and bottom part of the lantern, but I'll do that later. Next, I'm going to take a little bit of super glue and put a dab of super glue on the back of the Arduino Nano, spray some activator on the neodymium magnet, and place it into the glue. Place it in just like this. Spray some more activator to glue in the neodymium magnet into place. Wait for it to cure. And now it's time to take the circuit and put it back inside the tube. 9-volt battery part first, then Arduino Nano after. Fold over the Neopixel. Cut off a little notch so that way I can tuck the wires in a little better. Doesn't need to be cut off, I just simply need to fold it. Pinch the wires, add some hot glue onto the back of the Neopixel. Glue the Neopixel into place. Roll the tube over 90 degrees and repeat the same process with the second Neopixel, going the opposite direction. And there, it should look just like this. Although I made a small mistake, I accidentally glued the Neopixels too close to each other on one side, but that's okay, it'll still work because the LED light will shine inside of the paper and it'll disperse the light evenly, which will not be too noticeable. Next, take the top part of the lantern, put it into place. Fits in nice and snug, which is exactly what I want. And now repeat the same process on the bottom part of the lantern. Push it over. Next, add some hot glue to glue everything into place so everything stays in place. And there, it should look just like this. Next, what I want to do is take a piece of paper and wrap it around, and of course get an idea of the measurements. This right here is the width that I need the paper to be. Fold it over and break it apart the same way as I've done before. And there we go, tear the paper to separate it. And there, now I have the perfect size paper. And now add a little bit of hot glue on both corners of the paper. And I'll take the housing and put it into the glue. This will be the starting point of wrapping the paper around the lantern. Add some more hot glue on the sides and on the bottom. Wait for the glue to solidify. And now roll the lantern over a little bit and add some more hot glue onto the lantern. And then add some more hot glue and repeat the same process. And as you can see, the paper wasn't long enough, and this piece of paper here is a little loose, so I need to add some glue here. That's okay, I can add some more paper onto the lantern. This piece of paper will complete the lantern. Glue it in the same way, but this time add a little bit of hot glue onto this piece of paper. And glue down the second piece of paper, press it down firmly, and then add some more hot glue onto the housing. Fold the paper over to glue it into place. And there we go, should look just like this. And by the way, I found my scissors, so I'm going to go ahead and cut off the excess. And now add a little bit more glue onto the piece of paper to glue it into place. And there, the housing of the lantern is now complete. Next, I'm going to take another neodymium magnet and stick it to that neodymium magnet, add a little bit of hot glue on the second neodymium magnet, move the Arduino Nano inside of the cardboard, place it firmly on the side of the cardboard, wait for the glue to solidify, put 6 neodymium magnets going through the center of the 9-volt battery, Add some hot glue on top of the neodymium magnets. And now glue the 9-volt battery inside of the housing, which will then allow the neodymium magnets to glue into place. Make sure everything is correct by simply plugging in the 9-volt battery clip. Take the 9-volt battery, place it inside, carefully without rubbing the glue off. Place it in comfortably. Hold it down firm to wait for the glue to solidify, and once solidified, if ever I want to reprogram the Arduino Nano, simply take the Arduino Nano, pull it out, reprogram it, and since there's a neodymium magnet in place, I can just simply take it, which will then stick back into place on top of the other neodymium magnet that is attached to the housing. Place it in just like this. And of course, if I want to replace the 9-volt battery, simply pull it out and the neodymium magnets remain, and then change the battery and it will stick back in place. And it goes in just like this. Tuck the wires in a little bit to make it more organized. And there, as you can see, nothing will come out, everything stays in place. Perfect. And there, the project is now complete. Let's go ahead and test it out. And there, as you can see, it works. This lantern is now glowing and changing different colors. Although a small problem, the Arduino Nano has an LED, which is causing it to glow too much on the bottom, so what I need to do is just simply cover it, or hold the lantern like this. And that works very well. And there you have it. Now you know how to make your very own paper lantern ws2812 Neopixel RGB LEDs with using a few simple parts, such as a ws2812 Neopixels, an Arduino Nano, and some cardboard and paper. Thank you for watching SciTi Tech. I hope you learned something new, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and of course click on the bell icon to be notified of future SciTi Tech videos. Till the next tech, goodbye.